Welcome to our side of the fence. Great intro music, Milo, by the way. I have not addressed that yet, but I just love our intro music.
That's beautiful.
And it was Kate's brother?
I think so.
Kate's brother did it.
He had said his brother-in-law, so I don't know if it's his sister's husband or...
What an amazing man to do that for us, and I hope we paid him, too.
Anyway,
Surely.
Milo, if you don't care to give him...
Milo, if you don't care.
You don't care to...
But no, we've had a little hiatus from the pod for a minute, but a lot of exciting things have kind of came to pass the last few weeks.
We thought we'd just take a minute and do a quick Tim's fencing update.
Tim's fencing update. So let's see what's all gone on. We getting some new products on the way and in for our clients, which are going to be great, and we're really going to be able to afford to sell fence at a much lower rate for man-made material for the remainder of the year. So I know for Logan and I, that's been a big thing that we've been working on lately.
Yeah, how much about that do you guys want to talk about?
We don't have to talk about a ton of it, but
Tim, 3 weeks ago, Tim's like, I'm talking to Alibaba. I was like, what kind of scam is this?
No, like Alibaba is an international purchasing website essentially. So, even if some of these bigger companies are sourcing their steel hinges and stuff and they're getting made overseas, there's no reason that we can't order them directly. So some of these same distributors that make latches, hinges, all of that are pool coat even. I mean, if we can buy them 70% off though, and it's the exact same thing, then why wouldn't we buy it for 70% off? It's the exact same thing. Maybe we have to hold the warranty on it, maybe not, it doesn't really matter. And then we sell that to the client 70% off too. A lot of Logan and I's conversation on pricing material, it's very fixed on the dollar. So if Logan and I are negotiating with a vendor, that is 95% of those savings are passed on to the client. Just to be clear about that so everybody can hear it from the horse's mouth. It's not because really Logan and I's heart in it all is for the sales staff to be able to sell to a wider audience range, and also for us to be selling the correct jobs that our installers are the best at installing and have the best customer satisfaction. If we could only install aluminum and PVC, we wouldn't have the issues. I met with a client this morning who had a fence installed about 8 months ago by us, and it has a small amount of growth on it. Just a little bit of mildew growing on the pickets. Now it's not stained yet. The fence is 8 months old. It's rained in bushels since July. And we really haven't had a whole lot of sun, honestly, since July either. Because if we all remember, late summer, it rained and rained. In fall, I remember talking in the fall, oh my gosh, we've never had so many rain days. And then in December, we had 2 weeks. Not 2, that's an exaggeration. We took 2 weeks off of installing for the holidays, but the week before that was extremely wet. The week we returned was extremely wet. We had a week of snow. Yeah. It's just none of these wood fences have had a chance to properly age and cure just due to that harsh, extreme weather.
How did the customer meeting go?
It's just one of those things when you start talking about reality, and this is already a client that had some initial complaints about the condition of the pressure-treated lumber that was installed, and we extensively took care of it, about a month after the install, which really none of it was out of the normal. So I do think they were slightly disappointed that we weren't going to commit to just replacing the entire fence, which I hate that too. I hate when I go out there that their only resolution in their eyes is us removing everything we've done and reinstalling it. But I told her, I said, even if I was to agree to that, it would look exactly like this in 6 months.
Well, didn't we do half the fence last summer?
A third of it.
Yeah.
Which we really shouldn't have. That wasn't, ultimately, I'm not saying our team made a bad call on that, but if I would have been the one out at the job site that day, we wouldn't have done as extensive replacement as we already had, just because it's a weather thing, and to talk a little bit about fencing, which we don't do a ton of it, no matter what you have outside your house, it's going to require a small amount of maintenance, right? Stephanie, you have a wood fence. What'd you do to it?
I sealed it with Thompson's water seal about 3 or 4 months after.
You guys wanted to clear?
I've had one repair on it, and it's basically because of the grade of my yard. I have a hill, and the post started settling down the hill.
Yep.
that's because of my yard, not because of the fence. But other than that, I've not had any warped pickets, no popped pickets, no knots falling out,
Absolutely.
nothing, because I took care of my fence. We pressure washed it, we sealed it. We seal it every 2 years. We just sealed it again in the fall.
And it's
beautiful
and
fence.
it's really not that time consuming.
It's not
nobody,
time-consuming.
nobody wants to spend a Saturday working on it, but it's
I
one
have
day
close to 300 feet. That's a pretty big fence job, I would think. I would think our average is like 175, I would
a
think.
year. A lot of times.
I said like residential wood. So
And
we
Logan,
put a backpack sprayer
Logan
on.
has a giant fence too. He'll
Yeah.
probably never stain it though.
Joseph
hopefully
did.
I won't own it in 2 weeks.
Joseph did the backside for me on the hill so that I wouldn't have to do it. But I just put the backpack sprayer on and just sprayed it, and I was done. in
So
one
right
day.
out of the weed sprayer
Like,
too,
yep,
right? And that's
yep.
that's the process I've recommended for years to our DIYers. You know, sure, if a professional comes in, they might use an airless spray
Yeah.
pump, but how many hours do you think it took you guys the first year to
Not
clean
even
it and seal
4.
it?
Not even 4 years.
For
4
300
hours.
feet.
Yeah,
For you.
4 years.
So
4 years. No. Like
So-
4. It took, because I got off of work and we did it. And it was in the summer. It was like in June or July, so it didn't get dark until 8. But it was getting dark once we finished.
So you
and
got
I
it
get off.
done at about 6 o'clock, roughly.
Right. It's what? I'd get off at 2? Okay.
So if you're talking to a client and they are asking about the time, you think you could say about an hour and a half to 2 hours, worst case scenario, every 100 feet of fence to do both sides?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you and Joseph also work very well together. You've worked
yeah.
with Joseph a lot on whether it's car projects or this or
Right,
that. Like
yeah.
Sarah and I
We do have good
extensively work
communication,
together
yeah.
too.
I stained a fence this weekend,
Sarah stained a fence
but I
this
brushed
weekend,
it.
which is
Yeah.
the way slower way.
Yeah.
but
way
Dang.
slower.
I had fun.
yeah.
Where?
Where?
Like the fence that covers the pool equipment.
Oh, yeah, your guys is new.
It wasn't
looks-
very much.
It looks
fence.
very good.
But maybe
too.
it took like an hour, maybe.
Did y'all do
Maybe.
black like everything else? Or
No.
No, we stained it to match how we wrapped all the posts on the front and the back of the house. So
That'd be
Sarah,
nice.
not me. I mean, I did a little bit of cutting in where she couldn't reach. That's it. Sarah did it all.
But it's
I will
fun.
add some advice because I don't want somebody just to use their backpack sprayer and think everything's okay. You need to flush it out after you get
Immediately.
finished sealing. Like, flush it out if you're going to use it again. If you're just going to throw it away, whatever. You need to flush it out, though, because it will clog up.
And on
And
the
you won't be
back
able
of
to use
the
it again.
on the back of the can too, whatever the cleaning, it'll have cleaning instructions for the product and cleaning and as in what you're putting it on, and then it'll have cleaning instructions for getting the product off the
Yeah.
application. So I just if you're on Home Depot, Lowe's, Sherwin-Williams, wherever, I wouldn't even necessarily count on the employee that's working at that place 100%. Flip over the can, there'll be directions. Then below that, it'll say they're clean up with hot water and soap, denatured alcohol, paint thinner, whatever. And just make sure you buy a quantable amount of that too, because a backpack sprayer is expensive. Like I know I bought some backpack sprayers, even the manual ones, and they're they're a couple $100.
Yeah.
No reason to smoke that.
Yeah.
But so that was the solution though, is I said, you know what? The wood's not rotting. It's strictly on the surface. There's pollen, there's dirt in the air, there's pollution in the air. When you mow your lawn, it kicks up dirt. Like that's organic material sticking to the wood. It's going to discolor. Like that's it at the end of the day. But I mean, sure, we're not replacing the fence. You know, the fence is within a warranty period by the chemical manufacturer. Workmanship wise, dude, that fence was straight. And you know, on the horizontals, those can tend to lean and move. Like I was very, very pleased with how good our installers did, how tight the pickets were nailed.
But
I was in a hard position to try to compliment us on that, but I was like, dang, this is
But I did anyway.
It's actually a beautiful
And
fence. I don't know what your problem is.
I think that goes back though, is just as far as synthetics go, and it just like even what we're talking about staining, and you have 4 hours, you have this, and you gotta educate yourself. I mean, really, if it was a economical enough option to put like a nice vinyl or the color vinyl, because not everybody likes vinyl, but
Right.
even if you could get a wood look vinyl or an aluminum instead of a picket or thing, I think everyone would, and so that's kind of our goal, is to where you can offer a synthetic to where you can do wood, but for $800 more, you can never have to think about it and do a synthetic option, and so that's where
absolutely.
our headset is. I would love to look at a schedule or our schedule, and it's aluminum, vinyl.
And it is
vinyl,
more and
vinyl.
more of that each year because of our, our buying power and our relationships. Like we're installing more PVC and aluminum now than we ever have. It's not 50% of our schedule like we'd like to see, but it's close week to
We
week.
do have a lot of vinyl and aluminum
We
next
do.
week.
But even that being said, though, like if I look at my aluminum fence at my house at the end of the summer, it's still got dust on it. Like I still hose it off. If we're hosing the pool deck, Sarah and I are real good at just hosing off the fence too, because it's still going to have the dust, it's still going to have the pollen. Vinyl fence is still going to have the dust, still going to have the pollen, still going to get a little bit of mildew. But that's where it's just a wash, not a stain. It's less than half the work. But anyway, that's a tangent on what's going on within the walls. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
No, that is a big one though.
Yeah.
But
Sidebar, Tim said we could buy a container of Chinese food purses.
I did. I found
From
some on
Alibaba.
Alibaba. Well, you don't even
I
have
was
to
gonna
buy.
say,
You don't even have to buy a whole shipping container. I didn't even tell you about the Inquires. 100 is the minimum quantity,
There you go.
and
Could
like
resell
the
those.
chocolate milk
Yeah.
purses, it brings them down to like $4 a piece.
Wow. I was gonna say, when you posted about that on Facebook, I was like, what is Tim doing, trying to buy watches in like bulk or something? But then I forgot to ask you that it.
No, Alibaba's
I was
fine.
like, oh, you're
The only thing that comes to my head
trying
is
to sell
that,
stuff on eBay.
that
Prince
song.
Ali, 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 Alibaba.
I'm like, what is this? Also, China keeps messaging me on Facebook now that you've sent all those things out.
They're very persistent. I'll give them
Literally, she's like, this is so-and-so from China.
that. Yeah. And I'm not even saying, like, obviously,
Scam.
there can be some quality issues too, and I don't want anybody to think that, oh, Tim only installs Chinese things. That's not it. A lot of this is the parts and the pieces that are already coming from China that we can just directly source to save money. Like, the Industrial Revolution, everything was made in America. Like, worldwide, we used to ship steel products to China, and, obviously with labor laws and everything else, and just standards, that's definitely flipped. But I'm with everybody else. I think it'd be great if we could bring more manufacturing back to the States. And I think we saw a great run at that during COVID, when the world and the supply chain management was so distressed because of COVID. And then we had the Panama Canal incidents where, like, hell, some freight vehicles were paying $1 million, $2 million just to go through the Panama Canal. That was something to where you saw, like, Knoxville's a maker city. We have a lot of people that just, art, weld, crafting, whatever. Like, I had friends that were buying metal CNCs and cutting parts out for Troy-built lawnmowers, for John Deere, for Kubota, because they couldn't source the parts from overseas anymore because the timeline was so long. Also, like, Ford truck, I think, was affected the most by, like, the microchip shortage, and we had this huge issue to where the reliability was still there in that, Southeast Asia market, China market for all these parts, but we weren't able to get them over because of supply chain issues, because of the logistical side of supply chain, because of the shutdowns of these factories. So although I think that, the Indian and Asian and Mexico market for manufacturing is always going to exist, and I think those are great trade partners internationally. Like, I think it'd be great if, Dodge and Chevy and Ford and all the other major manufacturers could bring more parts manufacturing to the U.S. But also, like, I'm part of the trades community. I'm always going to be for, my brothers in the trades to have more workload. Like, I do. Like, all of you guys know me. I'm very prideful that, we work in the construction trade, that we've found a way to have integrity and ethics and good customer service, which can be hard in the construction industry. So I'll get off my prideful soapbox, but, for everybody else, it's like, I'm glad to see more plumbers, more electricians, more pipe fitters, all of that, because it is such a need, especially in the Southeast. I'm a little more distant of what's going on the West Coast as far as the trades go, but man, we need them here. So, Mardi Growl.
Yes.
Switch
we just
gears.
got off of Mardi Growl.
Yeah. What's Mardi Growl? Sarah?
Mardi Growl is probably our second biggest marketing event of the year behind Dogwood. It's a event that Young Williams,
Yep.
Yeah.
Young Williams puts on, and it's a dog-focused event. So early on in our business, I just was like, we were slow one day, and I just started searching dog events because most of our clients are calling because they have a dog and they need a fence. So a good, I guess, marketing strategy for us is to get in front of the dog people in the community. So it's Mardi Gras. It's a parade focused on, like, mimicking Mardi Gras, New Orleans, and the dogs all dress up. And then at the
very
end,
fun.
and then at the very end of the parade, there's all dog related vendors, and it's just a really fun day. I have no idea how many people go to it, but it is overwhelming.
On Facebook, it said 3,000 people were going.
It felt more.
And I'm sure
it felt
there's
like way
more people.
Way
There's
more.
people that aren't on Facebook. Or
Yeah. I
mean, there was
that don't.
there was
put
2
that
to
they're
4
going.
people in front of our little stand all day until 2
Yeah.
o'clock. So from 11 to 2.
Yeah.
3. I mean, it was. I hate to use the word exhausting because I don't want people to feel like, oh, Tim's just doesn't like talking with people, but it was so many conversations of just being 100% on that I just wanted to get in the truck afterwards when we were going home. No radio.
Yeah.
Another one.
Well,
of
it's
those.
like by 1 o'clock, it was that busy by 1 o'clock when I'm eating chicken tenders, and this very sweet lady comes and she's talking, and I'm talking to her, but I'm just glad to like be eating and
Yeah.
not like talking. And then she's like, "Well, can we set up an estimate?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to eat my chicken
Yeah.
You're
tenders."
thankful. I definitely.
Yeah, I'm very thankful. We have her business now, and we're doing her fit, so I'm very thankful. But I was just like, "Yeah, I can set up an estimate."
Let me put my chicken tender down.
Yeah. How would you, I'm curious on your perspective of this, Logan. Like, how would you, as our sales manager, say that crowd differs from the House and Garden show to an audience like Mardi Growl?
Demographic of income, I would say, on paper is probably different as far as like home and garden. Like you're talking to people that, like that's one of those things. Never judge a book because they're showing you pictures and you're like, daggum, you're building a $2-3 million house, and you're talking about, I want the whole thing aluminum. I want to do it entry gate. I want to do the whole thing. A lot of Mardi Gras, not that Mardi Gras. It's just like peasants or something. It's just more so like you got people that need some chain link, that need a little dog run, that you need some dog fence, that you need whatever. And I think it's just people that's more so, I think they're there for an experience rather than actually to hire a contractor, because
Yeah.
So it's like happenstance business.
we probably it's more of a relevance thing because we set up probably 2 estimates compared to home show, which is 20 plus.
And honestly, like I wasn't even trying to set up because I like to greatly focus on just the people. Like that wasn't a show where people were coming to get sold. The House and Garden show, they're walking in there knowing they're getting sold. We're going to be 100% on. I think what's so fun about that, though, I almost feel like from time to time the leads are stronger at an event like Mardi Gras or the Pooch Parade, the Halloween one.
Oh, yeah.
Because we are so relatable. Because all of us right here, we love dogs. We all have multiple dogs. We are dog people. Like all of us at any given time could probably say yes to fostering the right dog or many dogs. All of us probably wouldn't mind having 10 acres fully fenced and just laying in the grass and getting licked.
By dogs.
By dogs.
My dogs.
So I feel like when you meet somebody at an event like that, especially, they're like, wow, we love what Young William's doing. And we're like, hey, we love what Young William's doing. We love what the Humane Society's doing. We love what these dog rescues are doing. It really does create that bond to where, that's a point of just relativity between us and them. Like, and I love getting to see the dog trainers that we've known for years. The Dog Wizard, Trent. I know Jason DeCourt didn't get to make it out this year, but we used to always see him with a spot for dogs. Canine off leash.
And that's where we
Chain
meet a lot of
Free.
the nonprofits that we work with. We met Chain Free
Absolutely.
at Mardi Growl. What's the pity rescue's name?
Fight for Bullies.
Fight for
Fight for
bullies.
Bullies.
And they had puppies this year.
They
My
did
gosh,
have
I just keep
puppies.
Brantley out of there.
Oh, I
I
know.
can't tell you how many times he
Yeah.
asked for a dang.
I didn't know.
Bring home a dog.
Yeah.
Well, they were gone pretty fast. I feel like when we first got there, they had like 8 or 9. And then when I went back over there at like 2, I didn't see any puppies.
Oh, really?
cool.
So I don't know if they just all got adopted or if maybe they took them somewhere because it was like too wet or something. I don't know.
Too tired.
And then we always get to see Cantrell Fenton staying down there, and it's always, which is funny because Zolly's the owner, and he's just the guy I run into
All
3
the
or 4 times a year. He's great. He's one of the people that has, is rooted in the ethics and integrity like we are. It's him and his wife. Their son's now working in the business pretty heavily. And I just think that's cool where we're in a place where we're shoulder to shoulder with our competitor, and I don't hate saying that, like our friend in fencing, but everything between us is super kosher, and like that would be honestly my wish for. And maybe it even is there, and we haven't tried engaging enough with the other fence companies in the area. But truly, like, there's so much work out there. There's chocolate, vanilla, Rocky Road, everything else. Like, we're all just a different flavor of ice cream for people. And you got to, as the consumer, just pick your flavor. Baskin Robbins, get down there, 32 of them.
I didn't know this, but when we first got there and I was like rolling everything around to go to our booth, this woman from Young Williams came up to me. She said that she runs the... I can't remember what it's called, the home visit or like home fostering thing where they go to people's houses and check them and make sure it's okay. And then if they don't have a fence, Young Williams, I guess, will pay for some fencing.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know this. And
Me
she said
either.
they use us. So I wonder if the clients are calling in and they're saying like
And then
they're
they
And
get
they just get like a
reimbursed.
check or
and
something.
they just get a check. Yeah, because I
Yeah,
didn't
I've
even
never
know that
heard.
that was a thing.
Yeah, please reach out to us. Let us know we can be more involved with that. Because
Yeah.
if we knew that was the circumstance, I'm sure we
For
would
sure
have
we'd-
been discounting it pretty heavily.
Yeah. But she's like, oh yeah, we only use you guys for, I think she
Dang.
said home visits.
That's very cool.
And
I love
I
that.
didn't even know that. So that was really cool.
That is cool.
It's just a cool event.
The food is killer.
Phew, the food. I'm a sucker for a food truck meal.
Oh,
Chicken is
gosh.
good.
What else is going on? We're working on one of our big goals for this year is last year we were trying to have an app done. And that failed.
did.
And so this year we're trying to find a company to work with to just find something that will better serve our team technology wise.
Yeah. We found one that we really liked, and like you guys had said earlier, which I loved that analogy, was it's 2 steps forward for half of our company, but like 5 steps back for the other half of the company.
So that one's a no-go.
So it's a no-go.
So back to the dating.
A couple of the other ones that Milo and I have looked at just don't seem functional just by looking at them. So
Oh,
we
did you
just-
guys look at? So we can name it like Service Titan.
So Service Titan was the one where half of it, it's like, that's amazing. We would love that. But
Did
then
you-
the other half is just not going to work.
Yeah.
Job Nimbus, we kind of looked at. We didn't
Didn't
like.
like. Well,
Milo has a couple others written down. He
Salesforce.
looked at. He did not care for. We didn't look at Salesforce.
You
It
didn't
was,
look at
like,
Salesforce?
It was 2 other ones.
think we
You
set
had
up a
name
meeting
dropped
with
them,
them.
and
I
we
think
looked
we are
them up.
setting up with Job Nimbus, Joist.
Yeah, Joyce, we did not like.
It's a little too small. I mean, they're
there was another one that
great.
started with like an A or something.
They're all
I can't
great
remember.
programs. It's just with the size and how we communicate so proficiently with our clients that, we really do have a very large demand and expectation of any sort of technology we're going to implement, because I also think y'all are so good at not only looking at what our side looks like, but what it looks like from the customer experience. So some of these programs to where in-house with our team, they'd work so well, they do really lack in the functions of, okay, how's this provide more value to our clients? And if it's a no, it's probably a no-go for us, because that was the driving force between Service Titan. It was going to be so great for our clients.
Yeah, I would love like a job tracker for clients. And I hate to compare it to Domino's, but like on Domino's, you have a pizza tracker. So you know when they're building your pizza, they know when you put it in the oven, when it's coming out, once it's hit the delivery driver and it's on its way. I love for our customers to have that kind of, they just don't, most of our customers don't love all the phone calls. So for
No.
them to have something like that, and not all the times customers want to give me their email because they're afraid that we're going to spam it and other things. So to have something for them to just be like, oh, I can log on and see the status of my job right now.
That would be magical.
It would be wonderful.
Totally.
It would be. What's another big thing? Every year we do Dancing for the Horses.
Every year we do. Sorry,
I
guys.
was just thinking of like them having access if it's like a special order job and it says like not ordered,
Yeah.
and then all the way up to like the last day or the day before. Seems like you haven't ordered. You know what? You're right.
You're right.
But
As it
hey,
turns-
how
we
many?
cut this
Or like
out,
I
but
tell them,
that
When
there's
Matt-
a delay in your job. Actually, it looks like you haven't ordered my material.
But
You know
also,
what?
one of our strengths is when we need to eat crow, we
Yeah.
sit at that table and we're the first one to bite. Like, we are so good at, because Logan, you and I especially have had some extremely hard conversations with clients, especially when there was so much supply chain issue of being like, listen, guys, like, we ordered this 3 weeks ago. I realize we could have ordered it 5 weeks ago, but the reality of it is right now is that it's still another 5 weeks out. Like no matter what, you were going to get bumped, or, you know, even the times when we just get into some horrendous dirt, you know, we're the first one we stop the project. We say, hey, listen, Mr. Smith, is there any way, before we go any further, I want you to meet us at the house. And we kind of show them rock, rock, root, 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 rock, 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 rock. This is going to be X amount more dollars, and I just want you to feel good about it. We can stop now, and we try to figure something else out different. But the reality is if you want this, like, we're not shy at delivering the bad news. Neither are y'all. Like, when you guys are handling our clients, like, there's sometimes just a shit conversation that needs to happen. Because I'm going to sit here at the head of the table and say, I want it to happen right 100% of the time, but I'm also the first one in the reality that, you know, it's a 99% deal, it's a 98% deal, it's a 97% deal, but our conflict resolution is so good. Mm-hmm. So, like, going back to the technology, we want technology for both our staff and our clients to be so transparent that when we make a note in there, that they're getting that too. Like, if it's a note that's pertinent to the client, as in, like, hey, job order, job, whatever, there can even just be some communication in there to where it's the client knows that we're working on it. Like, that's what's cool about Service Titan, which we find out about from AquaClear. Like, I love that I sat at home, it shot me a text message with a picture of the installer. Hey, this is John. John enjoys deer hunting in Oak Ridge. John was a detective for 25 years with the Knoxville, the Knox County Sheriff. Like, I think that just builds so much reliability. You know who's coming to your house or place of business. You know, a little, like, the ice is already broken. Like, the AquaClear guy, he has a dock dog. He does dock dogs. Like, that's cool. I don't know who that does dock dogs. Let's see, picture your dog jumping. Mm-hmm. Anyway, rant.
She's leaving if anybody's
That was
curious.
definitely that lady that lost the
I'm just
job.
confused as to why she would come back out there.
I don't know, me either, but this woman,
Horrible.
okay, so we have those listeners, we have a house in Merle's Inlet. It's a beach house. It's now a vacation rental. And I needed to have all these things done to get the vacation rental company that we wanted to maintain it. And so one of the things was to have the deck rebuilt. So I had 3 different companies come out. They all 3 quoted us. We chose one of them. Guy was great, tickled, couldn't be happy with our experience. But this one woman just wasn't as professional as the rest. That was one of the reasons why we didn't go with her. This woman hounded me for a week. I'm saying multiple text messages a day. Even after I said no, we went with another company. We'll discount it. We'll do all and Tim and I were talking about this last night because
They wanted 70% up front.
They wanted 70. So industry standard, well, Tim's been saying we do 50% down to get in our schedule and then the other 50% upon completion.
But we have other
My
options
mail lady asked
too.
for 50% down. That's pretty standard.
This woman wanted 70% down.
It was like all these fees. She's like, well, we need all the material. We need half the labor now, $1,000 deposit, a $2,000 scheduling fee.
Yeah, it
all
was
this
bizarre.
from a company that doesn't even have a website. Too.
Yeah, the
Like,
company
you have no web
started charging
presence.
Like, I kind of thought it would be like
You're
a truck into
handyman
truck experience.
contractor.
Yeah.
And then we kind of push back, and then she gives you the sob story.
Oh, the sob story. Oh, we just need a deposit for, I can't even remember what she said.
Oh, and then somebody died,
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
mourning the loss, and not that those things happen.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think your clients need to know about it. Like, well, one of my sons passed away, and so sorry I wasn't as responsive, or there's miscommunication because I was sad. You know, like those things happen. But it was scary. No contract either. She's
No.
like, just sign the estimate. I'm like, that's not a contract.
No, it wasn't even just sign the estimate. She was sending me a QuickBooks link to pay. There was no
Yeah,
contract.
it'd be assumed contract. Which
Yeah,
I don't think is a thing in
like
South
obviously
Carolina.
with us being in the business, I was like, this feels weird. Tim said no, they wouldn't
Their
answer.
COI was expired.
So we went with a different company. But I
Jesus.
think Tim's right. I think it's that woman at the house looking at the
I
deck.
almost want to text her.
So
Like, were you
had
just
the
at the
deck
house?
Done.
Yeah, so we went with a different
And
company.
so she's
Job's
probably
done.
looking at their work.
Yeah.
But
She's
like
in your backyard.
she's in our backyard. Like she
on the
opened up
deck.
the gate and is in our backyard.
On the deck.
On
looking
the deck.
at the deck.
Looking at the deck.
Mumbling something about blah, blah, blah.
Not on the phone.
No.
I want to text her and be like, hey, were you just at the house?
No, I'm texting the management company. That was weird.
That's
That
bizarre.
is weird.
Okay,
not
one
very
last thing I wanted to
professional.
talk about really quick. Another marketing fun thing that we have, Horsehaven.
dancing for the horses.
So Horsehaven is another local nonprofit we do a lot of work for. We're doing a big old fence for their new location next week. It's going to be super exciting.
I don't think they haven't announced their new location yet.
I think they have,
I think
because I
they-
had a customer call and was like, oh, we heard you from Horsehaven. We know you're doing their new fence at their new location.
Oh, really?
I think, and then they had
I
a
think
newsletter
so.
go out.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Yeah, I
I'm
think
wrong.
that people know now. And anyways, every year one of their big fundraisers they do is like Dancing with the Stars, but it's called Dancing for the Horses. And Tim did it the first year. I did it last year, and then this year we have Jamie, Logan's dad, one of our sales guys, in it. So that's always exciting. It's always in May.
Yep.
It's very fun. It's always on Brantley's birthday weekend. That's
Yeah.
the only bummer. but-
Yeah, he'll have a busy busy month because you have to go dance like at the dance studio like 2 or 3 times a week and
He's gonna make it happen.
learn your
He's
dance.
going tonight, I heard.
Yeah, this year the theme is icons, so
Yep.
they get to choose an icon that they want to be.
It's exciting.
So like I know one girl's Britney Spears, one girl's Dolly, a guy's James
James Dean.
Dean.
And I don't know the rest of them. A lot of them were like, not real iconic to me.
Yeah.
Are we not
they
saying
had-
Jamie's? Is that a surprise?
That's a surprise.
Yeah, it's
We're
a
keeping that
surprise.
hat in the
It's a
bag.
good
Yeah,
one.
for Albert Einstein.
Yeah, they wanted Jamie to be
Muhammad
Albert
Ali,
Einstein.
yeah,
or
Muhammad
Muhammad
Dance
Ali.
that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
Good
know.
question.
But
Yes.
that's why I'm not in the biz.
Well, yeah. But anyways, that'll be exciting to have. It's a fundraiser, so if you want to vote for Jamie, it's I believe it's horsehavenofTennessee.com, and then you choose the Dancing for the Horses and go to Jamie Tharp and go ahead and
Yeah.
donate to him. Every dollar is a vote.
What was the theme when you did it?
Glitz and glam.
Glitz and glam. I really liked the decade.
I
theme
know,
when
Tim's
Tim
was
did
I
it.
got a really
Decades.
lame decade, but I did like the
I thought
decade.
you got the best decade, honestly.
No, 50s would have been
Well,
best.
90s would have been the
90s
best.
would've been
80s
great.
were good too.
80s were good too.
See, I got the worst.
Okay. You got it pretty
Yeah,
good.
what,
40s?
20s or, yeah,
40s, 50s. It was like wartime, U.S.
Not even like Flapper Girl era.
No.
No.
And
I
got-
mean,
I ended up liking our dance because it's
Yeah.
just fun to learn choreography
Yeah.
and perform it. But, I was also
But
like,
also,
this
like,
is kind of bland.
Carissa looks so cute. That was
Carissa
your,
did.
your
I know.
pro.
I had to work. Yeah, the
'Cause they-
costuming was
yeah.
what I was like, dang it, I wish I would have just ordered my own costume.
They
because-
partner you with a pro every year, a pro ballroom dancer, and she looks so cute. But you got like a fishing shirt.
Yeah. It smelled like somebody fished in it.
Could have borrowed one of Joe's.
It was like a Magellan brand,
Yeah.
with like the,
Yeah.
No, I'm just excited for the year. Honestly, it's like I feel like we sit here. It's the beginning of March, and we blink, and it's August. We're like, oh god. But then we always have a little bit of a dip in July. Everybody's on vacation. We all get to breathe a little bit, and then we gang bust all the way to November, and then slow again for a few months. Then it's just the
I
ebb
also
and the
feel
flow.
like our marketing is up. We've got our billboards.
We're doing a ton of marketing right now,
I
which
love
is
seeing
just
our billboards. I forget about
brand
them.
awareness.
You haven't
Oh,
seen
people
them?
call in
No,
all
I
the time
do,
about
but
them.
I forget about them, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
I'm driving down the road and think, look at that.
Have you been? If they are a billboard, you've been marking them as billboard. Beautiful.
They're very fun. I love it. I love everything we're doing. Love the team. We got a great. I mean, I think we've mentioned that a bunch of times. It's just cool to be able to come in here every day, and it's just our company culture is exactly where we need it to be, and I feel like we do a really good job of just inclusion, and that's a big thing of when people have left to go work other places, and sometimes they return, sometimes they don't. And they're just like, man, it's just the Tim's family, though. There's nothing quite like it. That's how we like to keep it.
Yep. So one last thing, we have kind of covered a gamut of topics in here, like anything from Thanksgiving and like Tim's fencing culture, working with your spouse, marketing. If there is something specific, because I know we have listeners, because I look at our statistics.
We see you.
If there's something specific that you're interested in or you would like us to cover, I hate to sound like that because we definitely don't have thousands of listeners, but
What about fencing ghost stories? We can cover that one day.
Oh, I can
I
research
love
that for you.
ghost stories.
Logan's not into it.
I don't understand how that works.
He just won't be in the
Just don't worry
podcast for
about
that
it.
one.
Fencing ghost stories.
What do you mean by that?
That's what I'm
You'll
saying.
have
Like
to
any
figure
ghost
out.
stories that related to.
Pretty sure they could just walk through it.
I guess you'll have to tune into that episode
You have to
to
tune
find
in.
out.
You have to tune in.
All right.
I've seen some
Watch
pretty
me
creepy
find
forensic-
no research. Just kidding.
But I just
I know,
don't want
I'm sure.
anybody to take offense to it.
Right.
So
There you
that's
go.
it. Well, that's it.
That's it for
That's
today.
it. That's
That's
all.
There we go.
All right. Adios.
Are you gonna say it?
Thank you for listening to Our Side of the Fence.